Rock of Ages is about big dreams and big guitars.
It's the most fun I've had, I think, at a live performance ever.
The show leaves people feeling happy when they leave the theater.
It's really just a party. It's like going to a rock concert.
If I do this once in Rock of Ages, I do it 500 times.
There was just something really powerful that happened when, like, the lighters would go on.
It took you back to a certain place, you know, whether it was my camp or your teen tour or your wedding.
It's constant fun, constant excitement. Everybody can relate to the music.
I've seen Rock of Ages, as of now, 83 times.
I've seen it 106 times. 137 times.
Before the Tonys, before New York, before the hype, when we were the Hudson Hawk of musicals, it was Janet, Hillary, Carl, and I slugging it out here in LA.
The music came first. We were in the car listening to Don't Stop Believing.
I remember it was always Don't Stop Believing and Here I Go and Again, and I literally would play those songs 100 times a day. I just couldn't get them out of my head.
It was really a big gamble, but I can't imagine anyone who wouldn't have done it.
All they knew is they wanted 80s music and a story.
I took all these songs that I really liked and then just started printing out the lyrics so I could really look at them as literature. Like, really just see what the story is that they were telling, and then finding where the story made sense, and then look at musicals I love, classic musicals that people love, and what conventions and cliches exist in them, and then how to kind of play with them and have fun with them.
What I knew is that the show wanted to feel like you're going into a rock concert from the very beginning. Like, you wanted to walk into an environment and just feel sexy. You know, you wanted to see the lights on you, you wanted to hear the music.
It's about hot girls, cool guys, everybody's in tight pants, there's lots of leather, there's fringe, there's big hair, boots, bangles, buckles, and an attitude.
Getting the artists to actually see that we weren't making fun of them, making fun of the 80s, that we were celebrating a moment in time that they actually had a hand in creating.
When you talk to a lot of the guys, you know, whose music that we licensed, they're like, listen, we never expected it, but we always believed that our songs could be on Broadway because their shows back in the 80s were big and they were electric and they were fun and they were alive.
I like theater that doesn't, where you don't feel stuck in your body, but you feel alive with the person next to you. I wanted to create a communal experience like that, something that would bring people back to what being inside this rock movement felt like.
LA isn't known for its theater, so we basically started off in a bar.
Come on, feel the noise. Girls, rock your boys. We'll get wild, wild, wild. Wild, wild, wild.
The dudes that owned the Vanguard were like crazy gangsters that hated us. After our show was over, they turned it into like a disco nightclub. They'd always have this thing like, you've gotta be, you know, we have to open these doors at 9 p.m. and if you're 1 minute late, we're gonna smash all your shit.
And there were people just streaming in every
night.
night.
It was packed, especially for LA. Nobody goes to theater in LA, and this was the one production I'd ever seen where it was packed every night.
Yeah.
People were wasted, which is always a perk. You know what I mean? There were Jello shots and trannies, which didn't happen at Wicked.
The show conceptually I thought was genius because really in a musical you want people to sing along.
Exactly.
And so they stacked the deck with these 80s anthem hits, which everybody knows. And so it's like, wait a minute, is that even allowed? Can you do that? It's cheating.
I think by the time LA ended, we thought we would have every offer in the world. I mean, there was a lot of interest, but I think the show, whether it wasn't either ready or it wasn't famous enough, but we sat there at the end and we had nothing on the table.
Every incarnation, even from just doing it in a small little bar to Broadway, the audience reaction has always been the same, and the audience goes kind of bananas in a way that, like, you have to do the show.
Yeah.
There were some people who were advising us which said, you gotta go to Vegas. This is a Vegas show, you gotta go test it out in Vegas.
Vegas, I think everybody went out there to kind of test the waters and see how this would be. Like, how is the show going to play outside of Los Angeles? Because there were so many LA-centric jokes and industry jokes. And I'm not sure that we were in the right place at the right time.
Right after Vegas, just to be frank, if we're talking about the show, I mean, it was just all the air was let out of our sails, and we were left scratching our heads like, wait a minute, this thing's so great, we have all this music, why don't we have a deal?
But I remember when I first came in, I pitched it, I said, like, I think this is a Broadway show.
Broadway, to begin with, is risky. It's hard to make money on Broadway.
We went to every Broadway producer to raise money for this thing, and they all gave us the Heisman. See you later.
The thing that defined this journey was that it felt like it was over at every turn. Like, it was just like, okay, well, that's the last time we'll ever do that show.
Yeah, we told them it was a perilous enterprise, that it was a bad time to move. This office had just closed Gypsy with Patti LuPone, and Hairspray, which had run 7 years, and Young Frankenstein.
14 shows closed, no one was going to the theater, the economy fell apart, Lehman Brothers, which, you know, doesn't exist anymore.
We just had never done it before.
We were novice producers without a lot of credits.
Everyone's hired. Your general manager, your casting director obviously did their job. Your cast is sitting there. They're all reading the script for the first time out loud.
The original creators of the show were told that put the script in the drawer and forget about it.
It was the kind of experience where I remember looking at Matt going, holy shit, how are we going to pay for this?
Well, I pulled the script out of the drawer, and I thought it was fantastic.
Anytime someone would say, you know, well, if we go to Broadway, or if this, and Janet and I would stop them immediately. It's when we go to the Tonys.
And Matt just looks at me and he's like, it's a love letter. And like the room erupts and everyone starts going crazy.
All right, everybody, Rock of Ages is a hit musical.
It's a big hit, Rock of Ages.
We're celebrating the new Broadway hit, Rock of Ages.
Rock of Ages features some of the greatest music of the 80s, not to mention a lot of big hair.
I'm not talking 1 or 2, I'm talking 15 to 25 people who've seen the show over 50 to 60 times.
The presidents of every single movie studio flew to New York to our little 500-seat theater to see our show. Alan Horn calls Matt Weaver at his kid's birthday party, upped the offer by 25%, and we went with New Line Warner Brothers.
It is a relatable, uplifting story, and it's set to what we think is going to be the greatest soundtrack ever in any movie.
If you don't get a Tony nomination, you are done.
I was trying to keep calm, and you know, when the nominations came out, we were all kind of like mellow and everything, and lo and behold, we get 5 nominations.
The whole Tony's experience was amazing.
It was a dream come true.
We were against so many odds. It was so exciting to just be risking it all.
I mean, we've bankrupted our families over this, for real.
It's changed the lives of all of those involved. It's changed the life of the creators, of the cast.
Everybody just got together and did it. I mean, in LA, we folded chairs. In Las Vegas Boulevard, every day before the show, I was out on Las Vegas Boulevard handing out, you know, flyers. You know, we all just did everything.
I don't think I'm particularly special. I think everybody that comes out to Los Angeles, you know, come out with some kind of dream that you're gonna take over the town until you're beaten down systematically over and over until you have no dream at all. And that's when I wrote Rock of Ages.